Today I'm here with the CEO and President of Advantage Communications, where I will ask him a series of questions regarding the business. How are you doing today, Mr. Steele?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
I'm very pleased to participate in your project, and I look forward to your questions. So let's get started.
All right. Well, first things first. Why did you choose this business?
Well, this is the marketing advertising business, and this is really where I grew up as a young man. In my corporate life, I was the marketing director for the Coca-Cola company in Atlanta. I spent almost 20 years in marketing and advertising, developing and studying customers and consumer behavior, and developing advertising campaigns to generate more sales. So I literally spent most of my life, my working life, adult life, with the largest soft drink company in the world, Coca-Cola. There I worked many years in the United States, and my last 7 years I spent overseas, where I worked in Europe and later in Africa. So I have about 7 to 8 years of international experience. So marketing to me is not work; it's what I do every day. So I enjoy it.
All right. When was the business founded, Mr. Steele?
The business was founded in year 2000. We started out as consulting, and I went to visit some companies just as a consultant. And one thing led to another. Ended up needing more staff, and then creative services were required. Eventually, media was required, and it eventually blew up to be a full service agency. The intent was not when I started. I started out basically just to be a consultant because I had no plans to start a full service advertising agency. At that time, the market was saturated, and still is today. There's many advertising agencies here in the southern part of the country, particularly here in Arkansas.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, what types of products and services are sold here at Advantage Communications?
Well, that question you can answer. We develop primarily business marketing plans for companies to help them increase their sales of products and services. We have a strong skew to our business, and that is in the healthcare area. We are very, very popular here in Arkansas for the Stamp Out Smoking campaign, which many of your peers may recognize. We developed that campaign years ago to help deter young people from smoking cigarettes. That, in fact, is an interesting case because it's the de-marketing of tobacco versus the marketing of tobacco. We also are very well known for some clients such as the FBI and Verizon and other clients that we work with on a national basis. So our plate is pretty full here at Advantage Communications.
Okay. So, Mr. Steele, what do you see as the biggest problem or headache in owning the business?
The biggest problem in any business is what we define as human capital, the people, finding qualified people. That's why you're here, and that's why we encourage young people, and why we also encourage internships. We need young people to work very aggressively in school and to seek out the best education that's possible. In Arkansas, we rank 49th in just about every major metrics. That's 49th worst in the country in education and academic achievements. We have some fine institutions across our state that offer excellent education, such as Pulaski Tech, the University of Arkansas Little Rock, U of A, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and others. But we have to really re-educate our students and raise the bar. We need higher qualified students to come out of these institutions ready to go to work. and it will in fact turn around our situation in Arkansas. We need better students, more qualified students. We need students that can come to work ready, that can read and write and think. At Advantage Communications, we ask you to do one thing, and what's that?
Bring value.
Bring value. The only way you can create value for a client is to think. So here we ask people to do the hardest work. And we've had young people come here that said, I've never been asked to think. And I can't make it. I can't do that. To here, we ask you to think, problem solve. We need ideals, new thinking. So I think the sky is the limit, but our institutions are prepared. But I challenge the students to do better in school, do better on the SAT, to do better in college, to challenge their professors to excel, not just do the norm. So many young people perform at minimum levels, and that's acceptable in many institutions, but not here at Advanced Communications.
Okay. I know you talked about the biggest problem here with advanced communications. Well, what do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy the most watching young people like yourself come to my company and learn and say, wow, this is a great business. This is a great experience. I've learned so much. I had no idea what the real work environment was like, and to see young people move on to become viable professionals in our industry. That's very rewarding to me, to see young people grow and become a creative director, a copywriter, or an account executive, or a researcher, or an accountant. We have several different disciplines in our business. So to see the success of young people is the most rewarding.
Okay. Well, what are some disadvantages of owning your own business?
Time. You don't have time with your family, and you don't have time for yourself. The business and owning a business is very demanding. I have no days off, but that's the norm. It's not the exception. I read in a great book once, it said the measure you give is the measure you get back. And that means that if you own your own business, or even if you're just a professional in business, you work tirelessly for success. And that's what it takes for me to compete with other agencies, larger, better financed. I have to put forth an extraordinary effort, but I've done that most of my career. And I teach that here at Advantage Communications. Young people that want to be successful, there's a formula for success. Just outwork everybody. Give more than you take. Give extra. If you have a homework assignment, do extra work. There's no reason that every student shouldn't be an A student. It's just a matter of how much they give.
Yes, sir. Okay. What advice would you give someone considering a career in the business world?
If you're considering a position in the business world, and specifically in the advertising world, then you need to be prepared academically. You need to be prepared to excel in all aspects of communications. It is said and it is written, your ability to communicate dictates how much money you make. So if you have good communication skills, and you can read and you can put your thought to paper, which is writing, then you should excel in business. And it is unlimited. Your income potential is unlimited. And that's one message that I carry to all. We pay our people a very handsome salary. We want our people to be the highest paid in our industry because it helps us with recruiting. But we also want them to understand that we only hire the best.
All right. Well, Mrs. Steele, that brings us here to our last question. If you had to do it over again, would you still open and own a business?
If I had to do it over again, would I open Advantage Communications? And the answer to that is yes. Advantage Communications is a vehicle for me to share what I've been so blessed to have gained throughout my career, that I can come back to Arkansas and share my experience with young people, I wouldn't trade that for anything. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to also to demonstrate to all aspects of the community that you can be successful in business if you're focused and if you're willing to pay the price in terms of hard work. Being a professional in any business or even any sport, it requires that you dedicate yourself to excellence. And that's what we require here at Advanced Communications. The work hours, so many people come to work with the wrong attitude. They come to work and their goal is to get through the day. Those people don't survive in business. We seek people as any businessman would seek. I seek people that seek excellence and want to be the best at what they do every day. And that's the difference. There's a speech that I made on my website, advantageci.com, under special presentation, where I talk about cascading a company from good to great. I believe in that concept of good to great. It's a book written by Jim Collins. The whole concept of cascading organizations from just being average to being great. And I think that if we in Arkansas adopted that philosophy of good to great, we could cascade our state from the 49th to number one in every aspect of achievement, including income levels, educational levels, and the reduction in poverty. We have a long way to go here in Arkansas, but it all starts with each of you that may have an opportunity to hear this tape. It starts with the instructors that are doing a fine job in educating our young people. Our young people must dedicate themselves to excellence. They must put more into education. Education is the only way that we, in fact, can grow our state economically. The average incomes in Arkansas are way too low, and you can increase your own income through educating yourself. Take advantage of every class, every opportunity that you have in class, every professor that you have in class, and you should be the biggest pain for each of your professors. You should haunt them, meaning you should seek them out for additional information, training and learning. When I was in college, I stayed at my professor's door trying to get extra knowledge, trying to understand so that I could excel in class. We miss that today. And I am so thrilled that you take time out in your class to assign you this project. I am so thrilled that you take time out to ask me these questions. And if I can support you or your class in the future, just please let me know. And thank you for this time.
Thank you, Mr. Steele, for your time.